Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do the May 16th spiritual principle a day in a meditation. If it sounds like I'm speeding, I am. Dodgy internet today requires for speediness. The title of the meditation, though, is The Freedom to Let Go. We are free to participate, create, care, and share, surprise ourselves, take risks, be vulnerable, and stand on our 2 feet. That comes from the Living Clean book, Chapter 1, Keys to Freedom. When we stop using, we eliminate the most obvious symptom of the disease and the source of many of our problems. Abstinence alone, however, is seldom enough to straighten out our thinking, even after the drugs are gone. Our outlook, priorities, and personalities remain distorted. If we want to be free from all aspects of the disease, it will take some work. My self-centeredness had me tied up in knots, one member recalled. I was angry and judgmental, greedy for attention and material things, dishonest with others and myself. Just not using was just not enough. It took time and change for me to get free from my self-imposed prison. We get relief along the way and glimpse what it's like to be unburdened from self-centered fear. Step work loosens the grip that worry and shame had on us, freeing us to live in today. We find freedom in having friends we can count on and confide in belly laughs that aren't chemically induced, in the depth of our empathy for others' struggles. We stay aware of our spiritual condition, not selling for freedom's cheap substitute, irresponsibility. Humility liberates us to be a little more forgiving of others and ourselves, recognizing that we're all works in progress. We're grateful for our new capacity to stay in the present and for the respite we get from the disease when we tend to our spiritual awareness. Let me repeat that. We're grateful for our new capacity to stay in the present and for the respite we get from the disease when we tend to our spiritual awareness. We face life's many choices knowing that no matter what, we'll be okay. Freedom is a state of mind, not a state of being. The NA program helps us discover and discard limiting beliefs and patterns that keep us stuck regardless of our living conditions. Each day offers a fresh start and another opportunity to cast off mental, emotional, and spiritual shackles, wrote one member from the confines of a prison. If I want to fly, I will have to let go of the baggage that's weighing me down. That's apt advice for all of us. I will release something that's kept me bound. I'll let go of it daily if that's what it takes to live free. Beautiful meditation. It has me thinking. So let's go ahead and take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. The freedom to let go. And I like that. I like that I'm free to participate, to not participate, to share, to care, to create, surprise myself, take risks, be vulnerable, sometimes get hurt as a result, and still scoop myself back up and move on, and free not to have an attitude with the person because they didn't meet my expectations. It's really nice to have this level of freedom in my life because today I know the self-made imposed prisons that I lived in were dictated by what I thought other people thought about me or what I thought about myself, and my refusal to come out of that rat race of trying to be perfect. Today I don't have to be. There's plenty of times I hit re-record or I stop the recording because of just a slip of verbiage, right? That's just one example, but it's also a spirit of excellence for me. I don't always get it right, and sometimes I don't always have the time to redo it, right? But that's my desire. I get to be free of that, right? And when I don't do it, it's because I don't want to. And that is a self-imposed limitation, right? No one puts that on me, whether I think it's good or bad. I decide that I want it to be a certain way, and I don't let go of it like a bulldog until I get what I want, right? And that's, a weird analogy of trying to be excellent in a podcast is an example of, being self-consumed. But that's just something that I see today. There's other ways that I feel that I'm self-consumed or self-centered, is the word that we use here, right? Self-centered. But I get to be in God's will. And I get to let that go, and I get to be loving, and I get to be caring. I get to bite my tongue and not say things a certain way when I'm dealing with less than kind people, right? Every day it seems like I'm encountering someone that is just not nice. And I get to choose to be loving and caring and kind and not meet that energy, right? That's great. This topic of letting go of our baggage by choice. What can I do about yesterday anyhow? Matter of fact, isn't all of my amends beyond acknowledging the people that I know I hurt you? Isn't all of my apologies the only way that they actually mean something? I mean, it's cool to say I'm sorry, but it's in the amends, right? It's in the part of making it better. And isn't all of it a living amends in the here and now? They may never see it. They may not even really care. But for me to make a choice to lighten my load, release my baggages so that I can fly, right? It's positive. The thing about that young girl that passed away, she was a performer, singer. Her name was Aaliyah. And I don't know if many of you remember her or not. She was attached to an R&B artist that is sitting in prison, um, for many reasons, right? But I remember when she passed away, they said that that airplane or helicopter, it had to be an airplane, but they said that it was overweight. There were so many baggages. It had too much in it. And I can imagine, being a celebrity traveling somewhere, having my own jet or whatever. I would want everything that I want or need to have. And I would bring back whatever I want or need to. I would be completely self-centered, right? But that's not the way to go. That's not the way to be. Everyone on the plane does the same thing. The flight is overloaded. That's why when I do fly today, I show up at the airport and I have already measured the weight of my bag. And I bring an extra bag just so I can make sure that I'm within the weight that I'm supposed to be. Can you imagine if every person that flew went over by 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds? Yeah, they have a job to do to make sure that flight reaches its destination. And I get to choose to meet the weight limit, right? What I can actually bear. I'm talking about an analogy here of being weighted with trouble and expecting to fly, carrying all my bags of the past. the ones I have in the here and now are bad enough, but I at least get to apply spiritual principles to what I choose to carry. And I at least get to apply a 10th step to it daily so that I can offload some of that unnecessary weight of guilt and shame, embarrassment, but all that other stuff. I don't need to pack it for the flight anyway. Take a picture. Refer to it when you do your 4th and 5th step. I don't need to carry it with me every day, right? It's counterproductive. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you. I hope that you have a beautiful day on purpose.